Okay, so something that we've done for years, but we haven't really talked too much about is homeschooling. So in this video, we're going to go over why we did it and some tips for it. And I've got the expert here, my wife, Kelsey. So I've got some questions here for you. She wanted to take her walk, so we're going to be walking while we do this questionnaire, I guess. So should we tell them why we're homeschooling to begin with?
Yeah, well, to start off with, I decided that I wanted to homeschool my own kids when I was in high school, and it just so happened that CJ had a good experience with it. He was homeschooled for a few years, and it was just, I don't know, just an easy decision for us to come to.
We don't like what they're teaching in school these days. We don't like the environment that the kids are in. And you worry about them, and you want them to be kids, and that's why I appreciate that she wanted to do this for our kids.
We also like to go on vacations in the fall when they're back at school. We do a lot of day trips and things when he's on long break, and so we genuinely like to spend a lot of time with our kids. Not saying that, you know, public school kids, our parents don't want to spend time with them, but
And not saying that the teachers are bad. We both had a lot of good teachers.
yes.
But some of the teachers, even when we were in school, I did not appreciate what they were teaching. So this is nice. Plus I'm on shift work, and it used to be I didn't get to see my dad when he was on afternoon shift, but thanks to her, I get to see him. So the first question here, and I just looked up the most common questions. What curriculum should I use?
That one is going to be subjective, and it's going to have a lot to do with your kids and how they learn. And the only way to know that is there are like online tests that you can take for, you know, what kind of curriculum sounds the best for us. And you could I recommend starting there. There are loads of Facebook groups dedicated to homeschooling, so you could ask around there. I tried two or three curriculums before I got to the one that we've settled on and the one that has worked the best for us for the past few years, which is The Good and the Beautiful.
And that's got the Bible stuff tied in with it?
Yeah.
Okay, so
of course, my viewpoint on curriculum, it's nice to have, you know, being a Christian family, I want everything to be tied into the Bible, but it is not the curriculum's responsibility to teach my kids the Bible. It's our responsibility as parents. So not only do we use the curriculum, I also do other things in the Bible.
Okay, so let's say there's someone out there, which we know some people, and this is why I wanted to do this video, because I even get asked about it all the time at work and other places that I go to. How does somebody get started with homeschooling?
The best way to get started is you need to look up your local laws. We're in Ohio, so as of right now, the only thing we have to do is notify our county that we are homeschooling. That's it. They just changed the law last year. It used to be that we had to have our kids assessed every year and send that with our yearly notification. We no longer have to do that. I don't really like it. I feel like there's a lot of room for error. You hear all these bad stories about people homeschooling their kids who aren't actually doing it. So I continue to have my kids assessed just in case something should ever happen. I have the proof that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing.
So that kind of covers the laws and regulations, right?
For Ohio. You have to look up your local laws to see.
Yeah, my sister, she's in West Virginia. It's a little bit different over there. So you'd have to look up what the laws are in your state. So if someone's going to do it, they're going to worry, how do I know if my child meets the educational standards?
Well, tying in with that, looking up your local laws, there are, I believe there are the standards for what each kid, you know, should typically know in each different age group. So you could go by that. But that's what my assessor looks for, and make sure that the kids are improving and doing what they are supposed to be doing at their age levels. So it's always good, I think, to have someone on the outside just to check.
Okay, here's one very common one. What about socialization?
That is my least favorite question. Where do I get started with this? So socialization, that is such an outdated and irritating cause for concern with homeschooling. My kids are more social than I ever was.
Me too.
Yesterday we went to the library and met with friends. Tomorrow we're going to the pool and we're meeting with friends. Last week they were in a play all week long and were with kids that they had no idea who they were. You get out there and you do things. Our kids go with us everywhere. You know, save for a couple times when we've taken a trip or something. But our kids are always with us. You know, we go to the doctor's office and see people and they talk to people. We go to the store. Socialization is not a problem. You get out there and you get your kids involved in things. They will meet other people and they will talk to people of all ages. My kids can have a conversation with kids their age, little kids up to adults. It's not a problem.
Okay, so I'm going to jump ahead to one. How do you add the extracurricular activities?
Well, you can just look for things in your area to do. Like the play was something in our area. We don't want to be a family who's running around constantly every single day. We have been lately, but you know, regular like baseball and soccer, going to multiple practices multiple times a week. We don't want to be doing that. So they were in Taekwondo for a bit and they met a lot of great kids there, and that was only twice a week at one singular location. So just looking up stuff in your area. You could also join a homeschooling group or a part of two. We do loads of field trips and that kind of thing.
So what about excuse me, what about, we got 3 girls. Cody will be starting here in a few years.
Mm-hmm.
Each child of ours is definitely different.
Yeah. Yep.
So how do you handle having to teach each one? Because I'm sure they need taught different ways.
They do. Well, and that's why we had switched curriculums at first. I was using a curriculum called My Father's World. And with Kaylee it worked perfectly. But Kaylee is very type A, will sit down, do her work, make sure everything's perfect. Kylie is very artistic, and it was very bland, and it did not work for her. She did not like it. She didn't learn. So just kind of finding what fits with your kids. The Good and the Beautiful is fit with all the kids so far. Cody, being a boy, is probably going to need to get up and move around a little bit more, but we'll figure that out whenever we get there.
Okay. So how do you handle burnout and the motivation to do it every day? I know sometimes all of you guys get tired of it.
Yeah, well, that's why we homeschool year-round. You don't have to, certainly not, but that's just a choice that I make. That way we go and we go and we go, and if we need to take a break, we take a break. Sometimes when he's on long break, you know, we go places, we do things, and we just don't do school that day, and it's okay. We are fitting in the days that we need to, you know, the requirements that we need to meet. We are fitting that in plus some. So just taking breaks whenever you need.
That's another bonus of it too, is like we get to go on vacations in the fall when everybody else is back in school. We get to go places on weekdays when everybody else is at work and in school. So it's very nice, flexible. And flexible, yeah.
And another thing, like homeschooling, to me, this is one of the most important jobs that I do. I don't work outside the home. This is my work, and schooling our kids is extremely, extremely important to me. So, you know, whether I feel like doing it or not, we're gonna do it.
Okay, so here's one that I've wondered about. How, when they get older, right now, you know, you can handle this stuff. What about Like, how far are they going to go in like math? What are you going to do when they get to algebra? Are they going to get to pre-cal? How are we going to get them ready for college if they choose to go?
I already have that all picked out. I already know exactly what curriculum they're going to
How do you
use.
do it?
Well, I follow another YouTuber who has been fundamental in my homeschooling journey. That's Grace and Grit. She uses the Good and the Beautiful also. She has 4 kids and they're older than mine. And so she is ahead, and she actually, her oldest daughter will be graduating this year. So everything that I've done that she has done has worked very well. So to answer your question, when they get up to the higher levels of math, we will be using an online curriculum with another teacher. I will not be the one teaching these things. I can help if need be, but all of the help and all of the teaching is there for them.
But a lot of this stuff they'll be able just to read out of their books and teach themselves, right?
Yes.
Now, see, that's what I like. That makes a kid dangerous in life when they can just read and teach themselves. You know, that's what we do. That's what we'll talk about that in a second. That's what you did when you started homeschooling. That's what I do with the farm stuff, research, and we have the internet. We got all the information. When you can teach a kid how to do that, I think that makes them dangerous and successful in life.
Well, and that's another reason that I like homeschooling, because they learn to be self-motivated. Kaylee, who's in 5th grade right now, she is doing her schooling as we speak for tomorrow. She is getting all of her stuff done for tomorrow, all of her lessons, everything. I pretty much only am there to help her if she needs help. Other than that, I check her work because she can teach herself pretty much anything now.
Okay, so what's the worst thing about it? The absolute worst thing about homeschooling. We talked about the good.
The worst thing really isn't a bad thing. It's just a bad thing when you're having a bad day, and that's you are around your kids all day, every day. Now, that, you know, I'm not meaning that in a bad light, but sometimes, especially with Kaylee getting up into those preteen years, sometimes me and her butt heads a little bit and we need a break. But that's not really a bad thing. I enjoy being around my kids, and sometimes, you know, we butt heads, but there really isn't a bad thing to it.
Okay, so if you had to pick the number one resource that helped you whenever you were starting out, what was it? Whether it was a book or a video or...
Oh, that's a hard question. The number one resource.
Or resources.
Number one resource for me, honestly, I've already said it. Grace and Grit on YouTube has been the number one resource for me. Aside from that, my Ohio's, they have an Ohio Homeschooling Parents website that has all the laws, everything that you need, all the forms that you will ever need, answers all the questions you could need. So that has been the second best resource.
What about someone that says, I'm not smart enough to teach my kids? What do you think about that? Is that true, or is that something that they could get through?
I'm learning every day with my kids. You know, we're going through things, and you know, we did the 50 states last year, and I learned several things about a few states that I had no idea. It's okay to learn with your kids. I'm learning every day, and you know, I don't think I'm smart enough to teach my kids. I'm not good at math at all. But I'm getting refreshers as we go, and there is help if we need it. YouTube is an excellent resource for anything you need to know. So, you are smart enough.
Okay, last question. Do you find it hard to balance everything, and especially with us being here on the farm? Does it seem like it's impossible, or how do you deal with it?
It doesn't seem like it's impossible, but there are not enough hours in the day to do everything that I want to do. That's just how it is. Most important things that I get done every day: I work out, I walk, Bible study for myself, and school. Those are my absolute must-dos. Other than that, I'll do, you know, what I can. I'll work on the kitchen if I have time. Those kinds of things.
Okay, I actually got one more.
Okay.
What about grades? What What's like the rules with that? I know you can work ahead. I remember hearing about that when I was homeschooled. What goes on? Can Kaylee just keep going till she graduates?
Yes, she will.
And what's the benefits of that? Is there any drawbacks with that?
Grades don't matter. They really just don't matter. They matter, you know, when we go to the doctor's office, what grade are they in? Well, they're this and this. Because, like, for example, Kylie was a very reluctant reader. So right now in language arts, she's finishing up with 2nd grade. She's 9 years old. She's finishing up with her 2nd grade language arts, but in math, she's halfway through 4th grade. So she's ahead. So grades are just, you know.
But what about they're 14 years old and they're going to college? How would that work?
They're not set up to do that yet.
Are you going to try to do that, or are you just going to try to keep them on pace is what I'm trying to get at?
They're ahead of pace right now. At least Kaylee is. Kaylee is
By
already
how much?
halfway through 5th grade. Right now in 5th, if she was in public school, she'd be starting 5th grade this year. Right now she's halfway through 5th grade. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there, but there are lots of different things. We could dual enroll, and whenever she's in high school, that's a good option. And then she would have a lot of her core classes that she would need if she wanted to go to college. She doesn't have to, of course, but she could get some of those things done when she is in high school.
Okay, so
yeah, I don't have a distinct plan for that yet, but we still have some time, and we're getting there.
Okay, so I think that's all the main questions that I had. Again, I appreciate her doing this so much. Just that way our kids can be kids. It just seems like they don't get to be kids anymore. Seems like our kids are under attack these days.
Well, and they're learning things in public school that we never even heard of, and bullying and those kinds of things, and it's just getting worse. And social media was not a thing when we were kids. And like Kaylee, a lot of her friends that were at the play had phones. Why can't I have a phone? Because you don't need one. There's no reason for that. These kids don't need to be on social media. They don't need all of this added anxiety that was never a problem, 20 years ago. So, like he said, I want to keep them kids for as long as we can. It doesn't mean we're sheltering them and they don't know anything.
No.
They're very smart, and we talk to them about,
everything that's going on.
Yes.
We talk to them. But I want them to be kids first, and they're going to be ready whenever it's time to let them loose in the world. And I think this is a great way to raise up your kids. And like I said, I appreciate her doing it. And I wanted to make this video because I know some people are scared to do this with their kids. And I wanted to make this video so that you might feel a little bit better about it. Leave any comments here in the bottom of this video, and she will answer it.
Yes, anything you guys want. And another disclaimer, I always tell everyone who asks about this, we do not feel like if you choose to public school your kids, we do not feel like you are a bad person, that you don't care about your kids. We don't feel like that. This is what works for our family, and that's fine. So
again, if you got any questions at all that we didn't cover today, leave it in the comments and we'll get back with you. But I hope this video helps you out, and we just care about our kids, and we want the best for your kids, all the kids.
I can't say enough about homeschooling. We're meeting one of Kaylee's friends tomorrow, and her mom wants to talk about homeschooling. I could go on about it for forever. This video would be hours long.
That's why I got to cut her off, because she'll just keep going on about it. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully this helps you out. I can't keep myself from sweating. But yeah, again, leave any comments or questions that you have, and we will get back with you. So until next time, everybody.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.